What's up, guys? Just finished up a 4-day trip back here in Miami, and now it's time to head on to Charlotte and go see family. See you later. Bye.
Who's happy to be done with her trip and on her way home? This girl. So today I flew up to Dulles or Washington DC and back, and I was hoping to meet Eric in Charlotte, which by now he has landed there and he's gotten his rental car and now he's on his way up to see his family. But I didn't have today off and I was hoping to catch the 7 o'clock flight out of here, but we didn't land until 7 o'clock back here in Fort Lauderdale. So I'll go home, get a short night's sleep, and I will be on the 6 a.m. flight from Fort Lauderdale to Charlotte. I actually have a paid ticket for the morning, so no flying standby. I am so grateful for this. So we are going back to Eric's hometown and actually where I learned to fly. It's where I learned how to fly as well. So I love that Facebook gives you reminders, or little pop-up things that says, hey, guess where you were a year ago or 2 or 3. And so it's May 2019, and one of the pop-up things that came up this month was 4 years ago this month I soloed an airplane for the very first time ever, which was one of the most amazing accomplishments of my life. And if you had asked me several years ago if that was something that I would ever do, I would probably laugh. I mean, I always thought it would be cool. And one of my biggest dreams, literal dreams, has been to be able to physically fly. I mean, me, like my person, to be able to fly like Superman. He was always one of my favorite heroes because he could fly himself and have that power. Well, humans don't have that ability. So a couple years after I became a flight attendant, I thought, oh my gosh, I had this burning desire in me to be a pilot, but I just kind of kept putting it away, and the more that I flew and the more I kept looking up there in the cockpit, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to do this. So spring of 2015, I decided to take a flight lesson. Well, the first instructor and I didn't really hit it off all that well, so I tried another flight school in another town, and who walks in and who's my flight instructor? It's Eric. And honestly, I had been expecting like some old dude, like somebody old enough to be my father, but no, this handsome guy walks in, with his aviator sunglasses on, and I was like, whoo, nope, keep this professional. We are just focusing on my career here. So had a few lessons, really hit things off. Like his teaching style and my learning style worked really well, so booked out a couple months worth of lessons. And May 17th 2015 was the first time that I ever flew the airplane all by myself. Now, this was after like 2 months worth of lessons, and I was so frustrated with myself sometimes. There'd be days where I'd make great progress and be like, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm flying an airplane. And then I'd have days where I was like, well, that was a bunch of crap. Like, that sucked. Like, am I learning? And it's easy when you're learning something new to feel like you've plateaued. And with flying, that happens to absolutely everyone. So anyways, I had been working on my landings, takeoffs and landings. I mean, there were certain days where Eric and I would do, upwards of 12 to 15 takeoffs and landings at one time, one right after another. And by the end, my brain was shot. I was physically tired. I was just done. And so coming back in, we worked, after working on some maneuvers, he said, okay, let's work on takeoffs and landings. And probably after maybe the 9th or 10th landing that day, he said, okay, taxi back in. So I taxied back in. He got out of the airplane and said, hey, you're gonna solo. And I was blown away. I was like, I'm ready. He goes, yeah, your landings have been great today. Let's do this. So little did I know that his parents had showed up to the airport, and then there had also been, gosh, probably a dozen other pilots just hanging out at the airport because it had been such a beautiful day, and they all got to see me solo. It was one of the best experiences of my life. But when I went to go, you know, taxi out to start, I had such focus and tunnel vision that I didn't even see one of the guys next to me waving as I taxied right past him. But took off for the first time all by myself, and yeah, I was probably about ready to pee my pants, but I was sticking with it. And then all of a sudden just this huge rush of peace came over me, and I went around and did my first pattern. I landed and I ended up screaming at the top of my lungs, "Yeah, fire, baby!" And I wish I had hit the microphone at that time so everybody sitting there at the airport could hear me scream that, but I didn't. I was like, you know, trying to keep it cool, trying to keep it professional. I got this. So then I lined up again, did my second takeoff and landing, did my third takeoff and landing, and I was done. So when Eric walked up to the plane, as I had taxied it and parked, I got out of the airplane. I'm pretty sure there might be video somewhere of me going, "I soloed, I soloed, I soloed." So afterwards, when a student pilot solos the aircraft for the very first time, the instructor cuts out the back of your t-shirt. And this is signifying that you don't need your instructor anymore. I mean, you do, but just, it is a rite of passage, because back in the old days, your instructor didn't sit next to you, he actually sat behind you, and you didn't have headsets, so every time he wanted you to do something, he'd reach forward and go and tug on the back of your t-shirt. So now that you've soloed, then the instructor cuts out the back of the t-shirt, signifying that he doesn't need to tug and instruct you anymore on takeoffs and landings. After that, then it's customary for your flight instructor to decorate it and then post it up on the wall at the flight school. You cannot get that solo t-shirt back until you've passed your check ride for your private pilot's license. So it took me about maybe 7 or 8 months later to actually finish everything and get my license or my certificate, but it was also another amazing, proud moment of my life. So anyways, sorry for the long little story, but Facebook, thank you so much for sending me that memory. And there are days when I feel slightly discouraged about the dreams that I have going forward. You know, my dreams have changed a little bit since that day that I soloed, but I still love aviation. There's still so much with flying that I want to go do. And even now, you know, there's certain times where I'm like, man, I feel like I've plateaued with things. Then I remember how hard I worked to solo that airplane and how rewarding it was. And even on the days that I felt like I had plateaued or wasn't making any progress, I was. I may not have been able to see it, but it was just building every day. So if you have dreams that you are working towards, but there's days when you're just like, I'm not seeing any progress, I've plateaued, and I've done a million takeoffs and landings, or whatever it is that you're working on, just keep going, keep working that much harder. You gotta believe in yourself, and sometimes you just gotta talk to yourself and say, I got this. So anyways, whatever dreams you have going right now, keep working so incredibly hard on them. I believe in you. I know you can do it. And I've got so many more things that I'm working on myself. So I do have that t-shirt hanging up on the wall actually in our bedroom. It's right next to Eric's solo t-shirt. So that is some of the coolest things that we share together, and it's absolutely priceless. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you've enjoyed the story. I'm on my way home. Gotta get ready and go to Charlotte in the morning. Eric, I'll see you in the morning.